resets, but my resets are like, I call them aid stations, mental aid stations. So when you're going fucking hard and you grind all the fucking time, like everybody knows there's 24 hours in a day, but when I'm in the shower, it's a mental aid station. I don't think about shit. I don't fucking think about people. I don't think about work. I don't think about running. I don't think about working out. When I'm in the car, another fucking mental aid station. When I'm fucking eating, mental aid station. So people eat and they work and all this other shit, man. So I can grind hard because a lot of times, man, I'm in mental fucking aid stations, chilling.
So you have little mini vacations.
Mini vacations, man, all day long. All day long.
Do you feel now almost a responsibility to like stay at it all the time because so many people are watching and paying attention and drawing inspiration from you?
100%. I mean, like, I probably would have retired a long time ago, but I get these emails from people and it's like they're living through me. Like their strength comes through what they know I'm doing. So there's so many times I want to get up and say, oh man, fuck it, man, I got mine, I'm good. And I'm like, fucking Tommy out there, motherfucker. Fucking Tommy talking
Tommy
about.
in his email.
Tommy talking about fucking,
he
man.
saved his life.
Man, I ran 10 miles last night because of you, man. I'm like, you know, a lot of people can live off of that and they can fucking be good with that. And, you know, a lot of motivational people come out here, man, and run their motherfucking mouths about shit. And I know they are not doing shit. They sit back and they're fucking like, you know, they have their little brainstorming sessions about, oh, what should we say? What's gonna connect with people while they're sitting on their fucking ass? My brainstorming sessions is fucking out there in the fucking grip of life, fucking grinding. And that's where I think all my material comes from the suck. Every bit of it comes from the suck.
And that's the difference between, there's like a whole industry now that's dedicated to trying to help people get motivated. And a lot of the people that are involved in that are very unqualified.
100%.
Because they're not really doing anything.
No.
There's so many people that haven't actually done anything, but they'll try to teach you how to get your life in order, and how to get your mind right, and develop that warrior mentality. I'm like, bitch, you don't have that.
Well, they're utilizing the weakness of the world right now.
Yeah.
The world's in a very bad place. So these people who are like con artists, they sit back and say, oh, I can come up with this. I can come up with this, and this right here can probably make me some money.
Yeah.
So they're in it for fucked up reasons.
There's just not a whole lot of people like you. You know, I love that phrase, uncommon amongst uncommon men, because it's such a good phrase because it just shows you've been on this path for so long and you're grinding for so long, but you're also honest about there's moments where you don't want to fucking do this.
Oh.
Which is why it's so interesting, because you do it.
Right.
You do it without any reservation. You just go through it.
Right.
But you always talk about, I don't want to fucking do this shit, but you always do it.
That's it.
But that's what people need to hear, because they feel like that somewhere out there there's some superhuman person who never feels despair and doesn't have any, there's no hesitation. So they feel like there's this person that's so different than them and so much stronger than them and doesn't ever have any procrastination. And you're like, that's not me.
No.
I love that phrase you told me once. He goes, sometimes I look at my fucking shoes for a half an hour before I put those bitches on.
It's a true statement. But what I do though, man, is I came up with this thing called perform without purpose. And so many people, they need to have a 5K, a 10K. I need to have a course in front of me. I need to have something in front of me for me to get my fucking ass up and do some shit. And that used to be me. And nowadays, you know, shit, for the past 20-some years, I don't need fucking purpose. And people miss out on this, man. The purpose, we're all looking for this golden purpose. Is it this? Is it that? Is it making money? Is it my family? Motherfucker, the purpose is you. We forget that. Every fucking day I wake up and I don't want to do some fucking shit. I'm like, okay, man, do you want to be a bitch today? Do you want to feel like a little bitch? Do you want to walk around all day knowing that you could, but you didn't? So it's perform without purpose. You have to learn how to get up and do shit when you ain't got no fucking 5K, no 10K, nothing. Nothing exists. Your life fucking sucks. You're in the fucking dungeon. But guess what, motherfucker? I'm still going to get it. Because when that time comes, because the time is going to come, When that purpose is there, you'll be ready. But most of us fucking aren't ready because we don't know how to do without having the golden carrot in front of us.
Yeah.
And so you're all fucked.
Remember that your focus is power. And where are you putting your attention? Where are you shining your lens? The reason why I bring this up is you have part of your brain called your reticular activating system. Reticular activating system, RAS. And that's part of your brain because did you know your brain is primarily a deletion device? You're trying to keep information out of your mind, meaning if you let everything in, what would happen? If you open the floodgates, we would be overloaded. We would be way overwhelmed. We would go insane because there'd be so much stimulus, so much noise. And so you could only process approximately, according to different studies, 5 to 9 bits of information at a time. But here's the thing, what we decide to let in is determined by, number one, our survival. The things that are threatening, that's key to our existence, we have to pay attention because that's how we're gonna survive. But the other things that we let in is when we connect with that part of our brain, it's called an RAS, reticular activating system. That's kind of like the filter of where we're gonna put our lens, our awareness, and how we can control it even more is through the power of questions. I believe questions are the answer. Questions are the answer. So what are the questions you're asking yourself on a regular basis to be more productive? Because the average person has about 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. The challenge, 95% of those thoughts are the same thoughts you had yesterday, isn't it? And the day before that, and the day before that. And you wonder why you can't make big leaps in your productivity or in your learning or in your income or in your life because we're having the same thoughts. And these thoughts lead to the same actions, and these actions lead to the same experiences, and those experiences lead to the same feelings, and those feelings feed those same thoughts, right? And so we always have the ability to make a choice of what are we gonna think, what are we gonna do, what are we gonna experience, like what do those experiences mean? Because everybody could have the same experience, but we all experience it differently in terms of the meaning we take from it. And also, what are we gonna choose to feel from this experience as well? So going back to the first part, which is our thoughts are things. And so a lot of those thoughts come in the form of questions. So for example, you've heard this in the reading course. I talk about that if you ever read a page in a book, got to the end and just forgot what you just read, how embarrassing, and you go back and you read it, and you still don't know what you just read, part of it is we're not asking enough questions. For example, years ago, my sister would send me postcards and emails of a very specific kind of dog, pictures of a very specific kind of breed of dog, a pug dog. And I didn't know why, so I started asking questions like, why does she keep sending me these photos, right? But I realized that her birthday was coming up and she was kind of planting seeds, right? You know, as a good marketer, right? Planting seeds. And here's the funny thing, I started seeing pug dogs everywhere. I would go to the supermarket, I'd be checking out, and somebody in front of me would be holding a pug dog. Can you imagine that, going to the supermarket, someone's holding a pug dog? Or I'd be running in my neighborhood, right? I like to run, my last name really is Quick. And so a lot of pressure when you're growing up in school as a runner, it says Quick right on your shirt. But I started running my neighborhood and I remember seeing somebody walking 6 pug dogs, right? And my question for you is, did these pug dogs just magically appear around in my neighborhood? Did they just magically appear at the store? No, they were always there, but they were part of my brain that I was deleting. Like all the stimulus, my brain was shutting out. I wasn't paying attention to them, right? I didn't see them. I might like be able to see them, but I wasn't really paying attention to them because it wasn't important to me until I started asking the question, you know, why is she sending me these photographs, right? Why are these pugs important? I started seeing them everywhere. Well, here's the lesson. There are pug dogs everywhere, and these are the things that you're looking for. Ask and you shall receive. When you ask a question like, why am I never good enough? You've charged that, and all of a sudden you see answer, 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 answer. Pug dog, pug dog, pug dog. When you're reading and you have questions about what's going on in the book and the lessons that you can learn and how can you use that, question, question, questions gives you answer, answer, answer. Questions are like magnets that pull information inside of your mind as opposed to someone trying to push information inside, right? And sometimes we learn better through pulling and attracting than we do pushing. And so
You talk about performance without a purpose. What's that?
So, like, for instance, let's say you have no races. Let's say you have no classes, no nothing. There's no purpose in your life. You know, people need to have purpose to get up. They need purpose to perform. You need to get to a point in your life where there's nothing on the docket. There is no 5K. There's no I'm going to get into school to be this or that and still perform to the highest level. Because what people don't get is one day that thing's going to come up. And if you're not constantly performing without purpose, you're not going to be ready when the time comes. It's this magical thing, purpose, that we're all looking for. But what's funny about it all is that we need these things to perform. But we don't take a second to realize the purpose is always there. The purpose never leaves us because the very purpose is you. You are always the purpose. There may be another purpose, like being a SEAL or going to college or whatever, but the main purpose in life is you. So if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't care enough about yourself. And that's what you need to really research is, man, why am I not doing this for myself? Because that is the number one purpose in life, is to better oneself. So that's the only purpose I fucking need. So the reason I get up every day, even though there's no race or there's no school, there's nothing in front of me, is because I have pride in myself.
But where do you go to? You wake up on a morning, it's cold, it's wet, it's dark, you've got no cartilage in your knee, you've got shitty shorts, whatever it is that's the issue today.
Keep talking.
You've got these problems, right?
I need you to keep talking about what you were just saying.
It's warm on the couch.
That's
Your
it.
missus says stay in
That's
bed.
it.
It's comfy.
That's
it's
it.
cozy.
That's
You've got
it.
work later on. You had an argument last night. You're slightly
it.
hungover.
Because I know every motherfucker ain't going to do what I'm going to do. So this is how you level up. That's how you level up. I know there's a whole bunch of people with that right there. That fires me up. That makes me fucking happy, what you just said. That brings joy to my life right there.
Why?
Because I know there's so many people that have the ability and just refuse to get off that couch. Refuse to study a few more hours. Refuse to go deeper, to go further. And that's where I gain the advantage. It's so easy to be great nowadays, my friend, because most people are weak. Most people don't want to go to that extra mile. Most people don't want to find that extra because it sucks. It's miserable. It's lonely. You talk about that you were kind of, lonely by yourself. I was the same way. And that used to hurt me growing up. Now I fucking thrive in that shit. That's the only place to be.
Well, that was one.
So confidence for me is this belief in oneself. Self-worth is you, or self-esteem is you knowing your value, your worth. I think self-confidence is us trusting. In fact, the Latin root for confidence is fidere, which means to trust. So self-confidence is trusting yourself. I think part of the journey we're doing is self-awareness is having the curiosity to know yourself. So we're getting to know yourself, but also trusting ourselves. Right? And later on, it's about loving ourselves, right? And also being ourselves. And that's really the goal. Self-confidence is about trusting yourself. And when you trust yourself, really a lot of doors open. A lot of limits fall by the side because all of a sudden we've transcended, we're ending this trance. And what's the opposite of not trusting ourselves or not having confidence? That's where we're in doubt. When we're not confident, we are doubting ourselves or doubting our knowledge, doubting our skills, doubting our own abilities. Maybe we're even doubting our own self-worth. The opposite of confidence might be not just doubt, but fear. And how does that show up? We might be painfully shy like I was. We might, turn down opportunity. We might not take risks. We might be so fearful of taking on new projects, to learn something, to do something, to be, do, have, share in a way because we're afraid of making mistakes, right? If we don't have confidence, we're not going to take on things and make mistakes. And from that, we're not going to learn anything. And I really do believe that, there's this quote that I have on my desk that says that if failure is not an option, then neither is success. I think Seth Godin said that if failure is not an option, then neither is success. So the opposite of self-confidence is where we are limiting ourselves. We're somehow putting a constraint. And part of what we're doing here is redrawing the borders and boundaries of what's possible. What's possible for us, what is possible that we could do, what's possible for what we deserve in our learning and also in our life. When we have low self-esteem or low self-confidence, we could feel anxiety. We could have social anxiety. Going out for me, when I was first starting out, I was doubting myself. I was only 18, 19 years old when I started this. And I would think, this was a few decades ago, but I was like, who am I to teach these people who are 2 and 3 times my age? I would be at a networking event, maybe a Chamber of Commerce event or a Rotary Club event when I first got started. And I would have this anxiety, the social anxiety. And I would always be the one standing in the corner or going 5, 6 times to the restroom just to kind of compose myself. And because I just didn't believe in myself, I didn't have that self-confidence because I didn't go through what I needed to go through. Or maybe it's not even going through it, it's growing through it. You're like, I like that. I'm gonna write that down in my in my confidence journal, right? Make sure you're taking notes, right? And so the opposite of that is not feeling assurance. I don't feel, maybe not feeling safe. And again, all that doubt. And I think really what we need to do is sometimes we need to be too optimistic to doubt. We have to be too determined to doubt. And that's really the goal of this program. And so we're talking about right now, we define confidence, right, as a trust in oneself. We know, that the root is about trust and trusting in our own abilities, that we'll be able to figure it out. And if we don't, we will eventually be able to figure it out. And the other side of it, where you might feel like even, most awareness is maybe, when you don't have confidence, it's a little bit awkward. It could be a little bit frightening, but how do you get past this? One of the main principles I want to really land home right now is the same that we talk about in our memory and our reading program. The work done on positive psychology, really pioneered by Dr. Carol Dweck, who wrote the book Mindset. I told you in each lesson I'm going to mention a book here or there because leaders are readers, right? And it's the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Because remember, we're going out of the limitless model. We're looking at mindset first because that's the first thing that needs to be addressed to be able to open up. Because you can learn a great method, right? A great method for having confidence in a room. But if your mindset is, I don't think it's possible, or I don't believe I'm capable of having confidence, or I don't believe I deserve it. So here's the thing. Confidence is not something that's just a noun. Remember, a big principle of quick brain and quick learning is taking nouns and training yourself every time you...
But mentally, I'm on the beach with the instructors. And the instructors, it's cold outside, so they got these parkas on. They got their cup of Joe, and they're warm because they've already been through it. So now it's your turn to go through it. So mentally, I get back with them. I'm still in the water physically, but mentally, I'm back with them. I'm chilling. I got my parka on, and now I'm thinking logically because I'm warm now. Mentally, I'm warm. I've taken that 1 second. Let's not quit yet, Goggins. Let's think about your options. Where are you going to end up if you quit this shit? Where are you going to go? What are you going to say to yourself? Because you know you're going to get warm. The second you get out of this water, you could take a shower and you could be warm. And in 5 days, you could be out. So I start thinking logically. I calm my brain down because your brain just wants to get the fuck out. Ring the bell, put your helmet down, get warm, and then you're really fucked. And these are the things you have to think about in the 1 second decision. So that's what that's all about. It's about gaining control of your mind, putting things back in the proper perspective, and then saying, I really do want to be here. And I'm going to have a bunch of these 1 seconds through this 130-hour journey. And I have to learn to control these, because if I fail one of these 1 seconds, I will not be a SEAL. I will not be a doctor. I will not be a lawyer. I will not be whatever the fuck it is. So that's how important that 1 second decision is. It's all about your mind takes control of you. You have to say, fuck you. I run this motherfucker. And that's what that's all about.
Projecting yourself forward to see what are the